Hey guys, how's it going? Mark here. Sorry for the delay in between films, but been a little bit busy. And you'll notice today I've changed my setting. I normally bring you films from the urban environment, but today, with the hairless chin, by the way, I'm going to be bringing you something different, a different style of imaging that is also an area that I really like, that I really enjoy and have done for many years. In fact, I was pretty much stuck in this genre of imaging for 7 or 8 years, I would imagine, and it is macro. I've come to a local park to where we are in Yokohama in Japan. I'm going to be shooting today with a Canon 5DSR, okay, 50.6 megapixel. I've got two lenses I'm going to use today. I've left all of my other lenses at home, and I do actually have a bit of a sob story about one of them, but I'll tell you that later. The main lens I'm going to be using today is a Tamron. It's the first generation of the 90mm f2.8. Fantastic lens, beautiful results from this lens. We're also out, and I'm sorry if I'm squinting, but we're also out in pretty much the middle of the day almost. It's 11:30. I just needed to get out. I needed some pixel therapy, as it were. A lot going on, again, which I will divulge a little bit later, but I digress. So 90mm, macro ratio on this is 1:1, okay? If we want to go closer without getting too technical, if I wanted to go really crazy, I'd use the MPE 65 from Canon, which allows me to go 5:1. But what I do have in addition to the 90 is this completely manual 60mm f2.8 from Lapel, or Venus as it was, and this one it allows me to go to 2:1 macro ratio. So I've come to a beautiful park, like I said. I've come to a beautiful place very close to us. There's lots of lovely little Japanese elements to the surroundings. So my goal is to look around in the undergrowth and just try and find textures. You're going to have really stark shadows, and I'll illustrate that with this shot of a daffodil that I just taken. Obviously I'm going to meter off of the white of the flower, and you'll see that just throws the whole back of the image into darkness. That in itself could be artsy-fartsy if you want to look at it that way, but I prefer, you know, to have things a little bit more with the uniform light, as it were. On macro, I think there's lots of aspects of an image in macro that you can look at and that you can spend hours looking at if you get the right image. And that can be nuances of texture, of form, of lines, and all of the things that you don't see, that you lose obviously in a wide angle image. And then the greater magnification you've got, the greater detail you find. And I guess that's a good thing with shooting with this particular camera, is with 50.6 megapixels, we're going to get a huge amount of detail. So the thing that I'm looking to do is to shoot more in shaded areas, because that way I can get more of a uniform light across a subject. And the reason that I came to this park is because there's lots of walkways and wooded areas where you can pretty much lose yourself amongst the vegetation, and that will allow you to just look really hard for subject matter, for images. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to leave the 90 Tamron on there at the moment, and just go for a few texture shots. What I'll do is, when I get set up, when I find something, I'll film it again and share the settings with you guys, and just go through some of the nuances of shooting with natural light and some of the tricks. Cool. Okay, now obviously one of the things with macro is the need to take a closer look at your surroundings. I found something here which you would probably just walk past anyway. I mean, most people would. On the top of this post here, you're not going to be able to see it in that image on the GoPro because it's just too wide, even on the narrow view setting. But on the top of this post, I think I've got a dead mosquito. Don't ask me how I found it. In fact, there's a whole line of these posts, and I had my glasses on and I was just looking at the top of each one just in case there was an insect or something interesting just hanging out on top. And dead mosquito. Well, it's cold, you know, there's not a lot to photograph, so dead mosquitoes it is. Now, I'm not going to be able to get it with the 90 because it's only 1:1 macro ratio, so I've got the Lauer 60mm 2:1 macro on it, f2.8, and I've maxed it out at 2:1, and I'm also on the shallow depth of field of f2.8. The thing with this lens is that it's completely manual. There's no focus ring. Focus is actually proximity. It's how near or far you are to the image. You also set your iris on the external of the lens here. There's no iris control, electronic iris control. So it's pretty much just a magnifying glass in front of a sensor. That's all it is. And I've got a little bit of light coming onto the post now, ambient light, which is cool. So I'm going to go ahead and take a shot of this, and I'll tell you my settings once I start looking through my viewfinder. Hold on. Okay, where are we? Now, the thing with macro is you need stability, and you'll find I'm going to meter on the little nutcase, and that gives me a shutter speed of a 60th. I'm going to go just a little bit over just to get the details and the highlights. But what you'll find is that I'm probably only going to get the eyeball in focus at this proximity. Let's have another go. And with macro photography, you use any kind of stability you can get, and you'll see that I'm just propped up against the glass. I'm using my left hand to hold the front of the lens, and I'm just leaning into that to get as much stability as possible. I ended up giving this guy a little nudge, and it seems that he's not dead. He's actually quite very much alive. He's shifted a little bit now, and he's a little bit better sideways on. And what I always try to do with macro is I try to work on the focal plane, because we've got such a little area that's in focus anyway. What I try to do is get as much of, try and find a profile. If all I want is detail of the animal or the flower or whatever, I always get to try and get as perpendicular to the subject as possible. And that just means that I get more on the focal plane, and it gives it more apparent focus. So let's go ahead and just take this guy before he... Never shoot with animal or kids. They've always got a habit of bugging out at the last minute. There he is. He's on, I don't know if you can see him, but he's right on the end of my finger. Maybe you can see him there. Cranked up to, believe it or not, I'm on f2.8, I'm at ISO 2000, and I'm still only getting about, I'll tell you now, 1/100th of a second. So it's a little bit limiting, but pretty sure we've nailed it. So let's go and find something maybe a little bit bigger. I've had enough. I've done. In fact, sadly, there's a very good reason I've done that, and the reason why I'm shooting macro today is because I was out shooting some street photography the other night, with my lovely nice 15mm f2.8 IRIX lens. You remember I done this tutorial about it. Yeah, I was out 10 minutes into the shoot, faffing around with the camera. I dropped it on the lens, so much so that it's absolutely knackered, and it's got to go back to the manufacturer. So no street photography for me for a while. I don't have another lens that I want to use. I've got a 24-105, but it's just a lens that I don't really use that much for what I do. I'm normally super wide most of the time, or macro. So back to the macro now, and that's pretty much why I'm shooting. And for a lot of my shoots and tutorials, especially with the wide angle stuff, I always make a point of saying that I don't like straps and necklaces or neck straps and lanyards and all that kind of stuff. But here I am. I've got one now. It's easy, quick and easy. I think it's from a flashlight. I just bastardized it and put it onto the camera. Security, I guess, you know, you need to have that. And the lens was a loaner, so I'm hoping IRIX are going to be really nice about it, and will hopefully try and get me another one. If not, I had a great time with it, but there's no reason why I shouldn't get another one, please. So take care of your camera gear. It's very bloody important. So anyway, oh, is that a moth? This is what I was looking for. It's this. You can see these nice fungus on this log here, on this branch, fallen branch. But on top of that, you've got all of this really nice foliage that is just awesome for just still life photography. Cool. So where are we then? And you'll see I'm going to brace my shoulder here, and I can lean up against my leg as well, and that's just going to give me a really nice, ooh, I like playing around. Don't you just love photography? Isn't it awesome? It's just, yeah, painless, man. I love it. A little bit close. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to come down. It's just details, man. It's awesome. I love it. And the texture, you've got these awesome textures on the fungus. It's just like these big elephant ear fungus type things, you know. And it's just awesome. My wife's going to kill me crawling around in the undergrowth, as you do. She's gotten used to it. She's given up on me, I guess. Okay, well, I'm sorry about the light. I understand. I can see that I'm probably going to be have a big halo of sun behind me, but it's because I'm back on the lamps again. But earlier I said I wasn't going to use flash, but nothing said I wasn't going to use light. And what I've got here are lume cubes, little LED self-contained lights. They give out huge amounts of power. I'm going to light, what I've got here is I've got a bug that's on a stick here, but I'm going to light him, but I'm also going to light the background, because the shot I'm going to take, normally I would have a very dark background because of the distance between the subject and the background and the focal length that I'm using, and also the fact that I'm using a very wide aperture. So I want to avoid having that dark background. I want to try and get some of the colour of the foliage from the background in the background, and I'm going to do my best to illuminate that using lume cubes. But I'm also going to put some light onto this little guy here, Okay, very simple in operation. You just push down and you've got 10 settings of brightness. Check that out, crazy beans. And I'm going to use one of these just to light, or try and light, a little bit more of the background. And I've got these put onto little quick release clamps, homemade doofers. Just everything with photography is jerry rigged. Hold on, wait there, let me just okay, see if that'll be fine. And then what I'm going to do, I've got this guy, he's still here fortunately. All my faffing around isn't making him desire to leave, so hopefully I can get this on and the same. There we go, and nice and gentle. So I've just got a little bit of power on that, and let's try and get a shot. So I've got my 90 on again, okay, because I'm not going for too much huge detail. I just yeah, well, we've got a little bit of colour in the background. It's better than black. Let me just see if I can use the post to brace myself a bit more. And what I might do is just bring the light up a bit, just to put a bit more light into the onto the wood around this chap. So let's do that. I don't want to bring the light too close because I don't want to barbecue the little guy. So hopefully this will be, oh yeah, that's looking much better. Oh, I'm happy with that. Let's get this home, get it in the computer and show you guys what's up. Cool beans. Cheers guys. I will see you soon. Okay, well, at the beginning of the podcast I said got a little bit of news. We're leaving Japan. We've been here for a couple of years, and I've been trying very, very hard to try and get into the local imaging scene. Photography for me is a huge passion of mine, but my main job is video. I'm a cameraman, videographer, and I've been trying to get into television provision whilst I've been over here, and sadly not happened. Closed circles, not knowing the language, I guess. It's just, call it what you will. You know, I've got no qualms about the fact that I didn't get into it. I couldn't get into the industry here, so we're going to go and get out of Japan. I won't be missing the earthquakes, which happen too frequently, and one thing about that is, you know, our son Joshua, he goes to nursery now. He's 4 years old, and his nursery is on the bottom floor of a 32-story building, and you get a huge earthquake, I don't even want to think about it. And yeah, you know, there's other aspects with regards to the Fukushima incident. It's just, yeah, we just want to get out of it. My wife's been badgering me, so it looks like we're heading out. At the moment, it looks like we're going to Scotland. A bit late in life to be starting a new chapter, but that's the way it is, and looking forward to it. So from this macro shoot, I'll probably do another program or another video before I go. I've still got about another month, so hopefully be able to bring you guys another adventure before I go. But rest assured, there will be lots more adventures in Scotland to get our teeth into, and bring you some more images from there. So it should be good. Right, cheers guys.